Hi everyone, just thought I'd make a quick video today because Games Workshop have dropped an article this afternoon about a new Space Marine character that is coming out soon. Now, the reason they've dropped this article is because this was already leaked all over Reddit this morning, in terms of the photos, etc. And they were confirming the pre-existing rumours that channels like Valrak, Chapter Master Valrak had already been talking about recently, that this character was coming back. He's a Space Marine, of course, called Captain Centos, and this was an old model that came out many years ago, and I imagine most people in the hobby aren't really aware of or remember. But he was an old model. He's getting a refresh, a glow up, the Primaris treatment, but with a twist, which I will talk about in a minute. So I thought we just quickly run through this article that I'm sure Games Workshop have had to rush out today to get ahead of the rumours. They would have had this article written and prepared probably for weeks, but I imagine they weren't planning on posting it today. But they are now, thanks to Reddit. Thanks again, Reddit. So, Captain Centos returns to celebrate some major Warhammer store milestones. That makes me think, I haven't read this yet, and that makes me think this will be a store birthday model, which Games Workshop sometimes produce. And they produced many of these in the past, and in my experience, what happens is you have to go to the store to get this model on the store's birthday, like the anniversary of the store's opening. And then what happens is you're told, actually, we don't have any of them in stock. Just order them and then come in a week or two's time and collect the model when they're in stock. That is absolutely tedious because it means you cannot order the model anyway, but by going into your store, and you can't get the model there on the day. So why can't you just phone them up and order it? I mean, it's total shit show. And this is just my experience over previous years. I don't know whether it's improved. I doubt it, but that is generally what happens. So the only way to get this model, other than eBay, of course, for twice the price, is to go into the store on the right day and make an order, and then come back to the store 2 weeks later and pick the model up. So it's a cheeky way of getting people into the stores. So let's read on. There are few places as wonderful as a Warhammer store. Did you know that? Maybe the person who wrote this article hasn't been in a Warhammer store recently. Each one run by a friendly and knowledgeable staff, ready to help you sort your Vindicators from your Vindictors. They'll give you painting tips, introduce you to games, and advise you on the next steps for every project. And there are even collectible coins and more to get your hands on. Right. I don't like to be too negative, but my understanding of a Warhammer store, and I very rarely will go into a Warhammer store because, one, they're very expensive, and two, they aren't stocked particularly well. I mean, the one I sometimes go into these days is the Tottenham Court Road store. It's the flagship store. It sells some Forge World stuff in there, but if you want to go in there, the range is tiny. It might have what you're looking for, but it's reasonably well stocked, but not amazing. I mean, if you go into, even the New Element game store in London is much better stocked than the flagship Games Workshop store in London, in the middle of London. Same as if you go into somewhere like Dark Sphere, again in London. I can only really talk for London stores. You will find these independent retailers much better stocked than a Games Workshop store, and 20% off the price as well. And the other thing is, in the official Warhammer stores, my understanding is back in the day, yes, it was a Warhammer store was a place for gamers and miniature collectors to convene and congregate and meet each other and paint and swap painting tips and then play games. All of that's sort of gone out the window now as Games Workshop has become this corporate leviathan interested only in money. It doesn't seem to really like its customer base very much these days or welcome them. And so, as I understand it, actually the managers are not allowed to hold games anymore. You may get an introductory game, and that's obviously to hook you into the hobby, and then they'll try and sell you like a starter kit or a launch edition of one of their big games. But it's not a place really where people go and sit and paint and chat to each other or play games. And also the stores very often are one-man run stores, I think. So a guy running a store doesn't have time to sit and chat with you and play and paint or have a game with you or something. He's trying to run the store as well. So it's all about cutting costs, being efficient, getting people to buy as much as possible. So the experience I've had when I have gone into a Warhammer store, as they're now called, not Games Workshop stores, they're all Warhammer stores, and you go in there and somebody will be on you straight away trying to, I don't want to say push, they're not pushy, and they're nice enough, but they'll be trying to engage you in conversation purely to try and fake an interest in what you're doing. Hey, what you're working on? What you doing? Maybe you want this. Maybe this. You should add this to your army. So they're salesmen, and they're just trying to upsell you on things and trying to make sure that you walk out of the store with a couple of boxes under your arm. So I don't think it's that welcoming. I certainly don't think a Warhammer store is a hobby hub. You're much better off going to a small independent retailer, go to a Dark Sphere, go to Bad Moon Cafe, go to Kingdom War Games in London. You'll find friendly communities of gamers who will be sitting painting with each other, and you will be able to get a good game there. That's where the real community is, not in a Warhammer store. I'm sorry. Anyway, digression over. Fun fact, we opened our 200th store in North America last week and have passed 300 stores in the UK and Europe, with a growing presence everywhere else around the world. To celebrate these milestones, we've brought back the venerable Captain Centos. And shockingly, he's an Ultramarine, my God. I say that because almost all Space Marine characters are Ultramarines. But hey, look at this. Hazard stripes. Maybe he's a secret Iron Warrior. Maybe he's a spy. Let's find out. A pretty cool model. Tactical rock and everything. He's back better than ever. And his back banner is resplendent. As everyone knows, these are among the top 3 best things in all of Warhammer. Asterisks. We'll find out what that asterisk is for later. So it makes sense. He can also be built with or without a helmet. Of course, he's a captain. Very nice sort of detailing on his power fist. Now, the interesting thing is, and this obviously harks back to the old model, which is this little Diddy character here. You will notice that this is an old non-Primaris helmet. What is it, Mark 7 helmet? And even the breastplate here doesn't, to me, look like a Primaris armour, Mark 10 armour. Now, obviously, they've tried to keep him sort of in the style of the old model here, and they've just given him a big glow up. But he will be a Primaris model. So it's interesting that they are starting as they did with the Sternguard kit. They're starting to mix in some of the old style and some of the old pieces of armor from the previous armor marks in with the new Primaris Mark 10 armor. So that's interesting. The last time Captain Centos showed up was 9 years ago to mark the 100th store in North America. I didn't realise, I thought it was older than that actually, but only 9 years ago, wow. He continues to cut that classic pose, as does another very specific Space Marine captain from all the way back in 1991, see below. And the heavy metal team has even preserved that famously vibrant red era cloak and bolter. Yeah, cool. I can't remember, but so they've changed his shoulder pads. That's interesting. The different companies in a chapter are indicated by or denoted by different colours. So, and I can't remember which. I mean, let's say this is Fifth Company or something like that. I don't know what it is really, but they must have written into the lore a captain of this company, whichever was the yellow or gold. And so they've had to change him to whichever company is represented by red. Maybe I'll have a look and after this video and see what company that is. Perhaps you could even paint your new version just like the one below using Warboss Green for the base. Yeah, that is a Very unusual choice, but cool. I like it. Captain Centos from 2016, right to the original Space Marine captain from 1991. Left, although he's missing an original cloak, lost to the vagaries of time. Hang on, what? Captain Centos from 2016, right. So that's the 2016 one. So what am I talking about? I didn't, God, I thought that was the new one. That is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I looked at that and then I thought that was the new one and that was the old one. So this is the third iteration of him, actually. Sorry if this is confusing. I've confused myself. So this is the original captain. And then this would just be Space Marine captain. Okay, right, just a ambiguous Space Marine captain from 91. This was his model from 2016. Obviously a much bigger scale. It's like a modern miniature. Cool. And then now this is the new one, which is even more, obviously Primaris size. It's still valid what I was saying about the armor. I mean, I was looking at this one when I was talking about the breastplate and the helmet, but yeah, you can see it's still relevant. They've tried to keep him in the same manner as the original. Very cool. Wow, it's a good model. I didn't even realise it was the old one. We'll have more details on how to recruit Captain Centos in due course. Yeah, they weren't ready to reveal that, but they've had to do it early. But he will be available during a worldwide celebration at Warhammer stores, alongside plenty of other celebratory gear. Okay, so it's not going to be a store birthday. It's going to be, or a store anniversary type thing. It's going to be just a date that they set to mark, you know, what was it, 300 stores in America or something like that. What did they say? 200 stores in America, 300 stores in the UK and Europe. Yeah, so they're just going to set a date, and then you'll have to go into a Warhammer store and order it, I would imagine. I don't think you'll be able to order this online. Either way, I hope to get my hands on one. Yeah, he'll be available at our retail stores while stocks last. Stay tuned to Warhammer Community to find out when to make a successful charge roll into your local store. So, looks like I'll be going to Tottenham Court Road again. Oh well. Can't be helped. So yeah, so that's him. Very cool. Really like him. Excellent sort of detail. I mean, it's just looking at these three models, it's interesting to see how they've moved on in terms of just detail. And I mean, look at the face. The expression they're able to get into the face now. Yeah, and just the pose is just much more realistic. The scale, the proportions. Pretty cool model, and obviously you don't have to use him as an ultramarine. The good thing about it is good because some models do have the chapter iconography sort of sculpted all over into the model, but you can tell with this one they've purposely kept that will be blank and that's painted on, that wording ultra there, and then that's a transfer or decal, that's a painting, a piece of painting. So he will come basically with no chapter iconography, and you can use him for your chapter, your custom chapter, or whatever chapter you paint your Marines. So excellent model. I imagine he'll be at least sort of 25, maybe even 28 quid these days. But I imagine I'll still be buying him because I am the sort of idiot that Games Workshop survives on. So anyway, if you like this ramble, then please like and subscribe and drop me a comment to say whatever you'd like to say about Captain Centos. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, bye.